How's it going, everybody, and welcome back. Remember that saw that I cobbled together, a piece of crap that I got like 2 years ago? Well, we have a subscriber that has the same saw with the same problem. The trigger is broken on it, and he watched my original video where I just cobbled this old crappy like cheap light switch into it to make the saw work. And I guess I wasn't clear enough with my wiring examples or how the camera was filming it, so he had some questions about the wiring. Now, what I did was dangerous. It's super dangerous. This should be thrown away. And I don't recommend that anybody actually do this, but, you know, I'm willing to accept the risks because I realize the dangers and the limitations of something like this, and I accept it because I use the saw like one time a year for 5 minutes, and that's it. So I'll show you how I wired it up, but I'm telling you now that I'm probably going to take the video down pretty soon because I don't want people to just go off willy-nilly and try this and get hurt. But I will show you how I wired it up. All right, let me show you how I got it going on right now. Now this is just your cheap, like super crappy 15 amp light switch. And this is wired up like a light switch in your house. There's nothing crazy about it. It's just your regular power cord that it comes with. And there's 3 wires. You've got your green, which is your ground, which gets grounded to the motor case. Right there, you can see the ground symbol. It has a neutral, which is the white. And on the switch, these two are paired together. It's a single throw, double pole switch. So whenever you pull the trigger, it's closing this pair of contacts and this pair of contacts at the same time on separate like circuits, you could say. They don't cross in any way, shape, or form. So I drew it out the way that it actually works. So you have your white, which is your neutral, and this is the wire that comes out and goes to the motor. Now this is the black or the hot wire. It comes down and then that one goes out from that wire to the motor. When you pull the trigger, it pulls this whole thing down at one time. So it closes, like this is the contact for this little branch and this is the contactor for this side. It closes them both at the same time and connects both of these wires together. I don't know why they're doing that. Must be a safety thing or a code thing. I have no idea. You guys can let me know in the comments below why there's a spring in there. So whenever you let go of the trigger, it opens it back up like it is. But once you pull the trigger, it closes the contacts down and bridges these two. Again, they're not connected in any way. So don't get your black, and your neutral together or anything like that. All they are is separate. And then this thing closes this contact and lets electricity flow from this point through that over across. That's all it does. That's what the switch was. And that's a $175 switch apparently. So all I did was tie the common together with the wire that came from that side of the switch and just, soldered it together and put a barrel connector on it, heat shrank it all up. And then the black one, just, took the black wire and the original motor wire that went to the hot side and I just put a switch in between it. That's it. Again, I don't know what the benefit of separating both of those at the same time is, but that's the way it originally was designed with the switch that it had. So like I said, I just wired it up like a regular household switch. Again, this is a piece of junk. It's dangerous. You shouldn't do it. If that thing, once you turn that on, it's on until you're dead or you lose power. So you can't let go of the switch if something happens and the saw shuts off, or if something gets hung up in the saw and hits you in the head, knocks you out. There's nothing you can do with the saw. It's a death trap the way that it is, the way I've got it wired up. Well, not the way I've got it wired up, but the way it functions now, because there is no safety to it. I'm willing to accept that because I know what it is. I understand the risks. I'm willing to accept them. I know about the electrical part of it. I know how I wired it up. All of that, I'm willing to accept it. For everybody else that might not be familiar with electrical or how the switches work or the dangers involved with a saw that never shuts off or anything like that, I would recommend that you throw the saw away or whatever, because a better saw, a new one, isn't that much money. I just want to see if I can get the thing to work because I really don't use it enough to justify buying a legit saw. But the Evolution saws that have like an actual saw blade that cuts steel, way better than the abrasive wheel saws. They don't throw as many sparks. I don't even think they throw any sparks. But this thing's a piece of junk. You shouldn't use it if you could afford another saw. If you're unfamiliar with electrical, you shouldn't wire up a saw like what I've did. like what I've done. If you are unwilling to take a risk of losing your hands, your life, whatever, don't do what I've done. I'll probably take the video down at some point because I really don't want to assume the risk of, people that don't really understand the danger of this thing, messing around with it. But anyhow, knowledge is power. If you're willing to accept all the risks, that's how I wired it up. It's been working fine. It is dangerous. I don't recommend it, but there you go. So, short and sweet. Be safe. Have a good one.